Hi, I'm Dan from Stanton Bikes, and today I'm going to give you a more in-depth look at the new Gen 3 Sherpa. We offer this in 3 different materials. We offer it in the triple butted 3AL 2.5V titanium version. We offer it in the Reynolds DZB 853 version that's UK made, and we also offer a Taiwanese 4130 heat treated triple butted version as well. The original design ethos with the Sherpa was to develop something that would be great for cross-country racing and also be brilliant for smashing trail centre loops with groups of friends, while also being a brilliant bike for bike packing and riding big long distances out in national parks. Me personally, I live in the Peak District. All the way through this lockdown period, this has been my go-to bike, absolutely spot on. The new changes in geometry really, well, I mean the original one climbed well anyway, but this, steepening the seat tube angle, increasing the reach while retaining the virtual top tube, and also designing it more specifically for shorter offset forks, has all amalgamated into a product that's that really does climb better than the original version and still has retained that nimble, playful feel on the descent. At the moment, we're getting a lot of people ask, why would I go for the 853 version over the 4130 version? Now, there's a definite price difference. You know, the 4130 version is £649. The Reynolds version is £999. If you buy the Reynolds version, then you get the paint upgrade for free, so you can have any of the paint range or even your own RAL colour if you choose. If you go for the Taiwanese version, then £649 is the base price, and then another £100 if you wanted to go for access to the whole palette of colours, because obviously all of the iridescent finishes, 3-layer finishes, things like this cost more. The powders just cost more. And also if we're buying one select RAL for you and your order, then that obviously costs more as well. So you've got your base 4 colours or 5 colours, 4 or 5 colours for your standard finish, and then you've got access to the rest of the palette for £100 more on the 4130, or you have that for free as an automatic upgrade for going for the Reynolds version. So that's one reason why you might go for Reynolds over 4130. So another reason why you would go with the Reynolds version over the 4130 version maybe is because Reynolds has a higher tensile strength than the 4130. Now, we have tried our best to get as close as we can to the Reynolds tubing with the 4130. All the butts are starting in the same place, but some of the profiles are slightly different. The down tubes run exactly the same butts and profiles, but it's the top tube that where we're running 0.5 on the Reynolds tubing, and we're going to 0.6 on the 4130, as I say, because of tensile strength down the tube. Although it's only 0.1, it is a 20% difference, so theoretically that translates to the 853 frame set feeling more comfortable than the 4130 frame set. All the other aspects really are exactly the same. Geometry is exactly the same through the product. All the tyre clearance is the same, still the same swappable dropouts. Yoke is exactly the same material, so on. Yeah, so really it is just the simple fact that one is made in Taiwan, one is made in the UK, one is out of the triple butted 4130 heat treated chromoly, and one is made out of DZB Reynolds 853 tubing. So obviously when designing in steel, you're trying to encourage as much elasticity into the material or into the feel of the frame as possible through the material. So running the Reynolds tubing, that's the best you're going to get really for steel tubing. To get elasticity, some of the things you can do is decrease the overall diameters of the tube, decrease the wall thicknesses, try and put as much of the material into the weld points as possible, so that you're able to reduce the weight out of the product, increase the elasticity without compromising the strength of the product. And then you're playing with the line of the fact that you've got ISO testing. So you've managed to reduce your wall thicknesses and you're trying to take it right to that line really. So we send one frame and get it to pass all 5 tests. We're trying to take that product right to the line, so we've got as much elasticity in it as possible. See, with the titanium, we've got a different game. Because the material's far, far lighter, you could make exactly the same product with the same diameters and wall thicknesses. It would still fly through ISO testing, but it would feel so bandy. It would have so much elasticity in it that it would just feel, it just wouldn't feel like a precise, direct well put together product. A lot of titanium frames, they're running 0.9 mil wall thicknesses all the way down the tube. So from weld point to weld point, you've got that whole part that you're trying to stretch. You're trying to get the whole length of the tube to try and give you that elasticity. Whereas if you increase the wall thicknesses, so you've got the strength that you're after, so you're up to like 1.2, 1.4, these sort of wall thicknesses at the weld point, and then you're running down to 0.5 through the middle, you're condensing the area that the elasticity is in, and you're able to run it, obviously because it's variable, you're able to run it right down to 0.5 as soon as you can get it, and then add the strength where you need it. So you're reducing the weight, increasing the strength of the bike, and increasing the ride quality of the product. So with titanium, you can really play about with that, with the ride feel. It's much more of a malleable product. It feels more malleable to design in, if that makes any sense. So with the titanium version, 0.5 through here, 1.2 here, and 1.4 here, yeah? The reason that we don't have internal routing is because of how thin we're running the wall thicknesses here, whereas on the switchback and switch 9er, we're running up to a 1.6 here, so we can get away with really, with doing all the internal routing, porting and things like this without it compromising the integrity of the tube. So differences between the Gen 2 and the Gen 3 geometry. What I've done is I've kept the virtual top tube, so the distance between here and here, pretty much the same. So I've increased it in the smaller version, which is obviously my size, because I'm 5'8". I've increased this by 15 millimeters to accommodate for the 15 millimeters that was in the 50 millimeter stem, as we've reduced the stem to a 35 millimeter stem. So your reach of the bar is exactly the same. A virtual top tube's ever so slightly longer to accommodate the shorter stem. That's what I'm getting at. We've moved the bottom bracket backwards, so it's increased the seat tube angle by 3 degrees. So we're 3 degrees steeper on the seat tube angle. That's also meant that we've increased the reach. I think the reach increased by about 23 millimeters. So we're at 440 millimeters. The axle to crown, let me swap this bike out. Let's get this titanium one in. Hold on. Let's talk about this one. Right, the old faithful. Me and this have done some miles over the last 3 months during lockdowns. So, like I say, virtual top tube's held pretty much the same. Reach has lengthened a touch because we've moved the bottom bracket back, which has steepened the seat tube angle up a little bit. We also dropped the BB by 3 millimeters. Doesn't sound a lot, but it does make a difference. By 3 millimeters to accommodate the fact that we're going to be running up to 130 millimeter fork. So, point to note, every 10 millimeters in the fork equates to half a degree up or down. So 10 millimeters more equates to half a degree out, and then because everything's pivoting around the rear axle, that then means the bottom bracket lifts up 3 millimeters too. So, you know, if we're going to offer the bike in 130 millimeters, yet we still want that original feel, then what I did was drop the bottom bracket by 3 millimeters, so then that's the same height as it was on the Gen 2 with 120 mm fork. So obviously increasing the reach, moving the bottom bracket back, steepening the seat tube angle while retaining the virtual top tube, adding the 15 millimeters to the virtual top tube to accommodate the 50 millimeters lost from going from a 50 millimeter stem to a 35 millimeter stem. So your butt and your hands are in the same position as they were on the Gen 2 to the Gen 3. It means that the wheelbase has grown. So what we're doing to counteract that is saying that it's better for you to go, you can obviously go for the 51mm offset fork if you want to still, but we would suggest you go for the 44 or 42mm offset fork, and this will give you a better steering arc around your centre line for your head angle. So you may say, well, what does this mean over the Gen 2? What does this mean, sir? Well, as we've shuffled the weight forward and increased the trail, it means that we've got a bike that doesn't loft as much as the Gen 2 on the steeper climbs, and also holds its poise in corners better as it gathers more grip. Like I said, this has been my lockdown weapon. So, and this climbs a lot better than the Gen 2, and to be honest, you know, the Gen 2 climbs plenty good enough. There's a lot of steep runs around here in the Peak District, and there's some points where I used to feel that the front end was bobbing. I used to have to bear my weight over the chest, my chest over the bar a little more to try and get it to pin down, but I'm not having any of that, even on the steepest ones that we've got going on around here. So, yeah, I'm totally made up with this bike. Like I say, we've been working on the FS projects for about 2 odd years now. Still developing frames, still doing this, that and the other with hardtails, mucking around different setups and so on. But this to me, this is the pinnacle really of the ideal XC trail mile churning bike category. I love it. Weight, that's one thing I've not covered. I can tell you that this product comes in about 3.4 to 3.6 pounds relative to the size. The 853 version comes in at 5.6, 5.7 relative to the size, and the 4130 version we're still yet to weigh that version, but with all the tubes, the wall thicknesses and tube diameters being the same as the 853 version, it's very likely to be within grams of difference. So, but we'll update the website with all the fresh weights as we get round to putting those frames out on. We've already put them on the website, so why the f haven't we done it? I'm sorry, should have done that. I guess we'll do that when we get back. Well, I hope I've covered everything in this video. If there are things that you feel I've missed, please put it in the comments section down below. Ask any questions about any of the products that we've got going on. Feel free to email in as well. You know, we're pretty hot on emails. We'll get back to you pretty quick, no dramas there. We'll be running demos very soon, but we're just trying to obviously find out what the hell's going on with all this COVID malarkey, and you know, we won't go into that. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Like I said before, we're going to be banging out a load more videos, so keep your eyes peeled for those. Remember to like, share and subscribe, and yeah, see you soon.